first thing I want to ask you is to introduce yourself. I want you to look into that camera. You know what? Look into that camera. There you go.
Alrighty. Hey guys, I'm Raeven, the founder of RadiateRoyal. RadiateRoyal is a nonprofit, and we want to be a youth mentor organization as well as an organization that brings the community together. We believe in, community economics and learning about your history and learning how to work with the environment around you and not burn it down. Cough, cough, government. But yeah, so that's who I am. I'm from Boston, live in Boston, and I serve Boston.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To Talking Solutions.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about some solutions today. A continuation of the panel discussion from back in September, where the first thing I'd like you to talk about is we didn't record the first question, which was what you're doing with RadiateRoyal, how that is changing the world for better. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that. Tell me how RadiateRoyal is changing the world for better. Well,
RadiateRoyal is changing the world for the better by helping the youth understand that they have a lot of pathways that they can take, opposed to just staying in the box that the institutions tell them that is the right way to go, right? Which may lead them to loans, may lead them to just not having a lot of time to live their life, to do what they are passionate about, or to spend time with their family. Because that's, usually what 9 to 5s, and that's usually what society is comprised of. They want us to give their time. They want us to pay our dues, right? It's really important for everybody to pay their dues. But then later on in life, it's not guaranteed that your organization will have the time or the effort or want to put in the effort to give back to you after you put in your dues to make it up in that organization. So yeah, just to teach youth that they are the future is really important, especially with how fast the world is changing nowadays. They do have a lot of the power.
I like that a lot because it's very important for the youth to understand that they're the future, mm-hmm. and that this is their world.
Right.
I don't think, it's like you gotta wait until you're 18 to vote.
Right.
But I feel like they should allow people that are younger to vote, mm-hmm. like at least 10, 12 years old.
It's true. You can sign up to be a pre-registered voter when you're 16. I know in Boston at least. And then, yeah, but you don't have any voting rights. But, you go through the process. You learn how to do it. So maybe that prompts people to sign up more, but still, maybe it just makes them tired because they can't do anything for 2 years after they sign up to vote anyway. So you're right. Yeah, we should have more youth councils and things like that. I've been looking into joining more youth councils with nonprofits because I'm starting my nonprofit. I want to know how other nonprofits run. So I'm looking to join a whole bunch of councils in Boston. So if you guys know any, let me know.
Awesome. So that's good. That's fantastic.
Yes, vote.
So have you been able to find? Have you found councils to be on? Have you found some nonprofits that you've aligned with?
Yes, I think it's CAC. I don't remember what organization they're under, but it's a youth. I think it's youth mentoring for foster kids. And so I'm looking into going through the process, like the query and thing like that, the paperwork, the background checks of being a mentor with foster kids. Also Mass Mentor, they are a new organization for mentoring. So I'm linking with them, talking to them. And then Boston YAB, it's like a committee for people with shared experiences that used to be homeless in Boston. So I was in Boston YAB, but they closed that down and they made a new council, the COC council. So I'm applying to be in there, but I missed my meeting. And they told me that they don't make appointments again with people that miss meetings, but I was in the hospital because I pulled my back from the cat thing. So I'm like, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you. I didn't plan on missing. Yeah. So, a lot of things like this is also why I'm very excited to start my own nonprofit, because I do see that corporations, they don't, take real life or mental health or anything into consideration. They want you to fit into the box that they want you to fit into, or they don't want to help you or work with you or talk to you. So we're breaking those barriers. Yes. I was like, Oh my gosh, I can show you my medication.
So are they really not going to let you come back? Like they're not going to let you
schedule an intake meeting. I emailed her back, and then I CC'd somebody else on the email, and then asked for them to CC a co-leader in on the email to reevaluate the decision that she just made, right? Because it didn't make any sense. So yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, you gotta let me know how that goes because
thank you.
That's messed up. Like it's like being like, oh well, you missed a meeting, you missed an appointment, so in our books we don't believe in second chances.
Right.
We're like, oh what? You got hit by a car? Sorry, you should have hobbled in here.
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. When I saw the email, I was taken aback. I'm like, okay, I started typing so fast. Like, let me just CC everybody to make sure everybody sees this.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you're seen, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I really hope that they reconsider this. Y'all better reconsider this because you are now going to be you're talked about right now.
All right. All over Boston.
Yeah. People are going to hear about this. And if you don't, reconsider, that could be a problem because people will be like, well, how really considerate is this organization if they don't consider when you...
All the real shared experiences, okay? Mm-hmm. Come on, snap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there we go. Oh, and before we continue, I just want to take a shout out to our sponsor, Nutter Law Firm here in the Seaport. They're providing us this beautiful space to be able to have this broadcast experience. I'm just keep adjusting the audio gain because I just want it to be perfect. And that's why I need to get Zoom Audio to sponsor. Zoom Audio, please sponsor so that I can get afloat. Yeah.
Yes, sponsor this man.
Yeah. Need all sorts of sponsors. All right. So the other thing I was going to, so you talked about that, during the panel discussion, you talked about how the education system should change, how it needs to be, there's a couple things you said. One thing was in response to Gio, who asked a question. He asked about how to customize the experience or how to prepare teachers to better support students when they're in the school for their mental health and whatever they're going through, prepare them and help them with what they're dealing with at home. So you mentioned that there can be pushback. You mentioned that there could be pushback on the mental health aspect and having teachers involved because then social services might get called and everything, but we really need to prepare our teachers to be able to better support the students.
Right.
And you mentioned mentorship. You mentioned making it easier for parents to get involved. And we talked, and earlier in that, and then today you talked about the 9-to-5 situation, which we're going to talk about after that. But right now, I want to hear more about your thoughts on how we can reconstruct the education system, both how we can change the way the education system works. We also talked about AI. And if you have any ideas about how AI can work in conjunction in aiding and supporting more customized learning for individual students, and what future you see for teachers to be more involved, and how you see teachers being able to get the resources they need to be able to be that extra psychological support that students need.
Right. Well, that was a lot, Jonathan, because you added the question in with the synopsis, and then the question was a question sandwich. Okay, the first thing I want to say is voting, we need to take out MCAS. I think that's a question on the ballot this term, right? Something about MCAS and public testing. And that's one way that we can individualize students, time in school. Yeah, even when I was in school, I don't think I took the SAT. I think I took the pre-SAT. There are so many tests, and they only matter if you go to this place. If you go to that place, they don't matter as much. There are just a lot of things that I don't know, to me, it makes sense. And they don't explain them well either. So, right, it's either you're wasting time doing everything they tell you to do, or you're taking your time to research what you really want to do and figuring out the pathways to that. And then also with AI, I know recently, like in the past 10 years, because I'm the oldest child, and my mother's first, she had 2 sons after me, but the first one, when he first got in daycare, I remember the automated system, like the diapers and the feeding, like all that. Daycares are making it automated and putting cameras in for parents to check in all throughout the day, right? That's like a new thing. So hopefully they like integrated more on it, because he's like 8 now. I don't know. But something like that, right? For high schools. And I also remember in high school, usually if a student's having an issue with the teacher and the teacher cares enough, they will talk to other teachers in the team, right? And then high schools, they have teams of teachers, and it's a whole, it's a whole big thing, really. But like, if a teacher sees that a student's having a problem and they care enough and they have enough time, they'll go talk to another teacher in the team. And if they see patterns, then they might contact the parent, right? And then if the student's with the guidance counselor, so many things that have to be noticed, right, before a student is helped if they don't know how to ask for help. But if maybe the teachers had like a system in place to leave notes, or just leave notes. There was like a grading system in place when I was in school where parents could check in on students' grades. I'm not sure if there were like mental health notes and things like that. Like, in kindergarten, green card, yellow card, stuff like that should be integrated in, because in kindergarten they were telling us about feelings. They don't care about feelings when you're 18. It's like, fuck feelings, you got to do work. Why? Who cares about work? Algebra? I want to be a veterinarian. So, yeah, those are ways that maybe the AI and you could individualize a student's experience, right? Give ways for teachers to talk to each other, even though teachers are busy and teachers use their own money for a lot of things too. We just need to pay teachers more.
Absolutely. We do need to pay teachers more.
Yes.
They need to get paid way more.
Way more.
Something I talked about Paul with the other day, that essentially teachers have their most important job, because they're setting up our future economy. They're setting up our future leaders.
Right.
And it's just like they don't get paid nearly enough in doing that.
Right.
And like they should get paid way more. They should have really good budgets, because I mean, what are we doing? Like, we're skimping on that would be like, I don't know. It's like if you're building a new building and you're like, oh man, like we should make this foundation. We need to cut the budget.
Right.
So
it doesn't have to be really sturdy.
It doesn't have to be really sturdy,
Just enough to get us there.
Yeah, just enough to get us there,
Oh
just
my
enough,
goodness.
to get us by. Like, you wouldn't want to be in a building that's like, hey, so how's this building built? How's the foundation? Decent. Like,
Sometimes we have money, sometimes we don't.
Sometimes there's money, sometimes there wasn't, and sometimes the workers had to put in their own money, and buy their own materials. Obviously, they had to get their materials at a discount somewhere. So, but it's fine. You want to be on the top floor? No. I think I'll pass on that building. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So they need to pay the teachers more, and they need better budgets for the students, because they're the future of our country. They're the ones that, like, it's just like, makes no sense. And so that brings me to the parent aspect, because if a parent is struggling to make money and they have to work hours, like sometimes 2 jobs just to get by, like, they can't spend time helping their kids. So first, we need that better support at school to help for parents that are busy and can't support. But then that leads to a bigger societal question about, what do you think? How do you think our society needs to change in order to make sure that parents, I mean, it's just all adults, like how we as a society can work less, make more, and spend time doing the things that we love and enjoy. Like what kind of future do you see for us to accomplish that, for us to get to that point where our society is, like we have a universal basic income, or like it's restructured where the people at top don't make as much money and the people in the middle make a little bit more, and the people in the bottom make way more than what they make right now. Like, so we can shift over to a less of a working society. What's your viewpoint on that? And like, do you have any ideas of like what you'd like to see society wise, like like welfare wise?
Yes. Me, Raven, and RadiateRoyal, we want to see more Kwanzaa-based ideologies. You know, Kwanzaa, they teach unity and self-determination and community economics, as well as community power and responsibility. Because, right, with great power comes great responsibility. Yes, there's 7 principles. I don't know. I think I said 5. But yes, Kwanzaa, things like that. RadiateRoyal, right now we're looking into, you know, because holiday seasons, when you're in a business, you have to look ahead. So I'm looking into making things about Kwanzaa and putting them out there to educate people, because Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday. It's just a holiday about those things, bringing the community together in unity. So I really want more people, especially in the inner city, to live off of those ideations, right? And like me, a lot of my friends are business minded or they do something, so I'm trying to barter more. You know, like even if I do or if I don't have the money, let me ask you if you'll take this or not, because right, why give you the money if we're just going to trade something anyway and then right, take away from the money. Let's just trade. Let's get back to trading. Let's get back to owning your own land. It's hard in the city, but that's why it's important to tell people in the city, just so they don't feel like they have to stay in the city their whole life and this is how it is and the world is, because the world is ending. But if you tell somebody that the world is ending but it's different over there, even though the grass might not be greener, it's different. So we can still go and try it out and see how it works. So yeah, just teaching people kind of to get back to the old ways, because that's how people did it back in the day. We didn't really rely as much on the government, and the government, they make a new regulation every day, right? So we are really highly regulated. We just need to get back to community regulations and not government regulations. They're not in our communities really. And yeah, we can go to the town hall meetings and they still might try to veto something. It's absolutely horrible. We need to riot. That's how I feel.
It's like you're so soft spoken. You're like, oh, we need to do this stuff. We need to riot.
Yes, let's get it together.
Get in the streets.
Yes.
Shake some shit up.
Let them know how we feel.
Yeah. It's interesting because like it shouldn't have to get there, you know. It should be a government for the people, by the people. But like, unfortunately, our political structure is that we have they're like royalty. We didn't really move away from the royalty peasant system. We were like, oh hey, you're a wealthy landowner. Do you want to be a politician?
Right, forever until you die.
Yeah. And then when the price of land, like when there's housing crises, you'll be the first to be able to buy more land. Doesn't that sound great? You can buy more land, and then we can build luxury condos that only people who make a lot of money can afford, and then we'll just push out everybody who can't afford. Right. Like, it's a great idea. Yeah. This is wonderful.
It's gonna sit 45% vacant for 10 years.
Yeah. It's a great idea. So,
and you see Mayor Wu, she's saying that empty office buildings can be turned into housing, affordable housing for money. So you're giving them money to do what you should be doing.
Yes.
What?
Exactly.
What? Then you should be giving us the money for more affordable housing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I do. I feel like that's something I really want to talk with our. I've been shifting away from using the phrase "the government" and using the phrase "our government."
Okay.
Because I believe that language is powerful. Words are powerful.
Yeah.
And we should use the words that we intend to be real.
Right.
And I intend for this government to be our government.
Power to the people.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk. I want to talk to our government about becoming long-term landlords.
Okay.
That basically they fund the development. Okay. They own the land. They hold on to the land as a trust, as a land trust, and then citizens get to that don't have access to housing get able to do affordable rent that is rent to own. So as they're renting, they're paying down towards ownership of that building, or their apartment in that building if it's just an apartment.
Right.
But like, that's what our government needs to start doing. Our government needs to start buying these buildings because private corporations own some some percentage of single family homes, and it's screwed up.
Like 40% in America.
Is it 40?
The numbers are really high right now. It's like 40%.
Yeah, privately owned, and it's ridiculous. Our government should be buying that stuff back. Like I was saying about how, like, when there's economic crashes, those who already have money are able to just buy more stuff.
Yeah, they low key float above. Everybody's under the water, and they're just like the leftovers.
Yeah, everybody's under the water, and they're just like in their flying airships, just looking down and being like,
what happened over there?
Yes. That looks terrible, but that looks good. Let's just kind of scoop this up.
Yes, exactly.
And just like, let's just, I know these people are trying to hold on to it, but just push them off as we scoop this out of the water.
Well, I've been looking into community land trust, and it's like the same thing, but the people, we start our own business, and the business buys the house, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing.
I've been interested in land trusts as well. I gotta look into that. I want to interview some people. I wanted to have somebody from the Dorchester neighborhood.
Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative?
Dudley Street, yeah.
I had a meeting with them like 2 Mondays ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found out about community land trust in October, and 2 weeks later, I'm excited meetings with people. I'm like, what is this? This is so cool. Nobody tells you about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she told me to just do it like Nike. She said, get a team together and, set up the business entity, the LLC, and then just find investors that will give us money to buy the house, right? Because the quickest way to do it in Boston is to buy the house and not buy the land to develop on.
Right.
Right? So just buy the house, and then we lease out shares to, if it's a triplex, we lease out shares to every owner. And then I'm like, yeah, but then, E for All and RadiateRoyal is in its incorporation stages, but it's cool because I'm looking to do that under RadiateRoyal, because you have to, community land trusts, they have to be nonprofits. And what's RadiateRoyal? A nonprofit. So I'm like, perfect. Yes. Perfect. But then my mentors are like, you have to slow down. You're doing too much. And I'm like, well, this is life. Life is moving fast,
Yeah, I hear that. See, it's not bad when you're doing a lot of stuff and you're moving fast. Mm-hmm. What's bad in my experience is when you want to do too much and you're going after too much at the same time, and you're not making any motion. And that's kind of what happened with mine for a while. We were going in a lot of different directions, but now we're focused. We're going in a very focused direction.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think what else you talked about. So we talked about education, talked about the mental health aspect, talked about students, and we talked about the political aspect, talked about how people need to get more engaged and understand their local politics. Mm-hmm. And then, we just talked about how politicians, how like people should be able to vote at a younger age potentially.
Yes. One thing I'm not sure about, town hall meetings in Boston. I don't know if you have to go in person, but it would be nice if they had like a Zoom meeting, right? Because then a lot more people would go. City council meetings, town hall meetings. They have a Zoom for it.
Yeah, I think there's a Zoom.
I am horrible. If I'm not even getting on my Zoom at 10 a.m., what? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think they have a Zoom. I think I saw one that's like a town meeting Zoom.
Okay.
So I think they have Zooms now.
But that's good.
So you can join in.
Sharing, right? Because they have different ones, either monthly or it will be about the specific thing that they're talking about. So that's good. We can share it. Yeah,
and that's the thing, is that I don't think that there's enough. It's not like easily accessible. I feel like on Instagram and on Facebook and Snapchat, whatever social media, TikTok, like our government should be putting out marketing to go, hey, we got a town hall meeting coming up.
They should.
You want to be in it? You want to here's the Zoom link.
That's why
schedule.
It's so confusing, because if you ever worked at a good job, they will allow you to comp things, right? They'll be like, yeah, send in your reimbursement, send in your receipts. So I know that you're reimbursing your employees. Why aren't you reimbursing your, what do we call distributor?
Constituents?
Or no, there are constituents, right? Or where they're constituents. Yeah, why aren't you reimbursing your constituents? What's going on here? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just know that there's money flowing over. People have to run out of surplus. You should think about running out of surplus to help the people, right? To suit your mission. Yeah, so I think they should definitely market more to show that they care more to get more results. It shows that they would want to get more results. Yeah, I like Woo's new team because I see that a lot of them are young, like people in the economic office and then people in the parks and recreation office. I see a lot of them posting stuff, and I'm like, okay, hey, that's cool. But I work my 9 to 5, so I work 3 to 11, so it's hard to network. But yeah, so then that just makes me like, I want to quit my job so I can be immersed in my community and have time to do things that I want to do. Then I'm like, bills.
So, are you familiar with the concept universal basic income?
Is that like communism?
Well, the thing about the terms communism and socialism are that every time like I've talked to people about it, I'm just like they like talk about communism, talking about socialism, and they're just like they're like, oh, it's never worked. I'm like, that's never actually been a socialist society, because as soon as they try socialism, it certainly becomes a dictatorship. So like we've had dictatorships.
Wow.
We haven't really had a social, because like the definition of socialism is that society as a whole manages and votes on the distribution of resources. So society, the society as a whole. I mean, that's what democracy is supposed to be. That democracy is supposed to be socialism in a sense,
right,
where everybody gets to vote and it's fully democratic.
Behind that ideation, that's why we have the Electoral College. Because I was confused. I'm like, why do they matter? If we matter, well, but then if everybody has to vote, then I guess they do matter.
Well, the Electoral College actually screws things up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because instead of everything being a population vote, a popular vote,
right,
it's like, yeah, but the Electoral College, because some states have more people in it.
Like,
and
who
I'm
told you to do it that way?
Yeah, why don't we just have the entire country vote? And we don't do it by state, just the whole country. We'll just accumulate the vote. That's it. And then each state's responsible for just double checking the votes.
Just double check your votes.
You're just double checking your votes.
Exactly.
Like you're just making sure that like none of the people that voted are actually dead and not real votes.
Right.
Just make sure they're real people and
submit your numbers.
Yeah, and submit the numbers. That's it. Like that's it. We shouldn't have like red and green. And that's the other thing. George Washington was against parties.
Okay.
Because he was like, we shouldn't have any parties in the U.S. because it will cause division. And apparently Hamilton and some other dude I can't remember were against the party system too. But then they were the founders of the initial parties. Apparently, there's the Democratic Republicans, and then there's the Republican Party.
When I learned about that in school, about how they switched and the colors switched, that's when you lost me. No. Because it's just like, what? What do you mean? They're puppeting us around. They're playing us.
Yeah, they're like, oh, like we stand for this and we stand for this. And then they're just like, all right, we're going to, it's like, you got the Democrat over here, you got the Republican over here, and then this over here, and then you're spinning around the cups, and you're just like, okay, pick, who's that? You don't know anymore. Fantastic.
Right, exactly.
And, but the Republican Party's gotten like very ignorant. Okay. In the sense that it's bigotry, racism. There was a bunch of guys, a bunch of men protesting. What's it called? They're protesting abortion.
I saw the videos at the rally this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, I saw them with the hats on and the patches on their hats.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm like, listen, you can have your opinions as a man.
Stay out of the business.
You gotta stay out of it. Right. Because it's just like, you're a guy. Like, you don't, you don't have the right to be able to just, and then I guess some people would argue like, well, I mean, it's my child. I helped create that child. But here's the thing. The woman has to see it through. And the woman, like, is just like, you have, like, as a man, the man has no health risk. I think
exactly
if the man had to carry the baby,
then he should have a choice.
Yeah, then the guy has a choice. It's like, all right, you get the choice. But and then in that case, the woman, can have an opinion, but she can't tell you what to do because it's your body, and that may be scary. But that means that like you got to have a good relationship with your spouse or the woman that's not your spouse, but you're having a baby with.
Exactly.
But, like, have a good relationship. If they're worried that they're going to end the baby, then maybe make sure you had these conversations ahead of time. Everything's prepared, it's ready. And then if you're not ready, then either have protected sex or don't have sex at all.
Yeah, abstinence.
Yeah, abstinence works.
But the way when you were just talking, it just flashed in my head. I'm like, the government, because the government is ran by men, right? We're finally getting women and black women in Congress, right? In big places in government. But like, and then, minority people, we're finally doing it. But the government is mainly men. So I'm like, the men are so scared that they don't have a choice, that's why they're not allowing us to have abortions anymore, because they want to control us so much and they can't. So that's why. That's just a thought that popped in my head. But it's scary because it can resonate. It resonates with a lot of things that they do, because the choices don't make sense. Like if she has health issues, then she needs to get an abortion, but it might be illegal in her state. So now what? She has to get on a train and go to the next state to get an abortion, or she dies in the state that it's crazy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
The Republican Party is and we have a Republican government. It's a representative-based government. And so in the Republican Party, you got people being like, I want small government and the government this and the government that. However, you're a Republican, which means it's a representative-based government. A representative-based government is big government. A democratic government is small. A democratic government is in the state.
Right.
So
chosen few.
Yeah, the like few. Like so like it's bonkers to me. And I honestly believe that it should be illegal for any politician to spread misinformation and to be bigoted and be racist. Like the second that's found out, they should not be allowed to be a politician at all. If they're misogynistic, if they're messing around with all sorts of different women.
Did you see that video where somebody was reading out? Oh my gosh, yeah, you're gonna have to edit this out. It was a video, it was in Congress or the Supreme Court where the guy was reading out statistics. He was like, 52 men in here rape somebody, 32 men in here have like a criminal case. And like he was reading out the statistics, right? And they didn't know that they were reading it about. And then he's like, these are statistics of people that are serving on Congress or serving Supreme Court. I just couldn't watch the end of the video because I'm just like, this is horrible. People can't get jobs, right? People can't get jobs. And you guys are just here doing whatever you want and signing off on your brothers to do the same.
They can't get jobs. They can't vote. And that's the thing. It's like you go to prison and you can't vote. And then also, that's a whole nother topic, prisons. Because I have a friend that went to prison. And he's like, in prison, if somebody messes with you, you can't, you have to beat them up because otherwise you're a bitch and everybody will mess with you. And the thing I'm thinking to myself is like, oh yeah, this is helping reform. This is helping reform. Having a brutal like social structure inside of this prison. Right. Prison doesn't help. Our prison system does not help. Definitely it just makes people worse. It makes somebody who goes in that does a light crime into a hardened criminal. And it doesn't make any sense. It's very stupid. There are in the Netherlands, they have actual programs that really rehabilitate people.
You're right.
They help them become they start into the prison and then they start living in like
the halfway house. I've seen videos in Europe. Yeah, they do it different in Europe.
Yeah, and I think it's in New Zealand. They even have their own house outside in like out in the world and land before they get out there.
Right.
Yeah.
To help. Yeah, because times
help
could
them
be changed by the
recalibrate,
time
you
they
know?
come out. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they don't get to own the house, but they get to stay in the house and transition out. But yeah, so.
Boston
Prisons
needs
are
more
ridiculous.
of that. Some of the workspaces could be turned into halfway. We need more shelters. We need more halfway houses. I'm not sure about halfway houses, but we probably do. We definitely need more shelters. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got. Community centers.
Yeah, we need affordable housing. We need our government to buy back land when it becomes available. Like, we need the land bought back and redistributed at below market rate. Like
below market rate.
I can't even believe it. $2,000-$3,000 you gotta spend if you want to live by yourself.
And you talk about a month, right? Because first, last, and security is six and up.
Yeah,
horrible.
If you want to live by yourself, first, last, and security. Like the thing is, I've been looking at like $2,500, $3,000 apartments, and they're like, we just need half the deposit. I'm like, well, that's reasonable.
It's really right. It's reasonable because you're already there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nice.
But there's a lot of places that are just like they need first, last, and security. So if it's like $2,000, they need $6,000. And it's just like, oh, do you have $6,000 just sitting around? No? Well, good luck. And
you better hope that the landlord actually wants somebody in there and is not just taking applications on autopilot, Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes a realtor they just tell the realtor, yeah, get their $50 fee, their $50 application fee, their $50 application fee.
All right, so we talked about politics, talking about the prison system.
Oh, wait, can we edit this? Snap. Can you take a break? Snap. Break. Are we on break? 30 second break?
You want to take a break?
30 second break. I just want to make sure the Instacart order. Yeah,
you got it. So universal basic income. We were talking about that, and then we sidetracked into socialism and communism. I honestly feel like because there's something called like democratic socialism, or social democracy, but like our society is like measured like GDP, gross domestic product, our economy based off gross domestic product. It's just it's like unless we're growing, our economy's not doing good, and that makes no sense because that's like we want our economy to be a cancer cell. You just want it to keep growing and growing and growing and never stopping, and it's consuming. It's stupid.
That's our problem with batteries. I was a fundraiser for Greenpeace for a little bit, and I learned about lithium batteries. I probably lost a lot of the valuable information that I learned knocking on people's doors, or having to knock on people's doors and talk about it. But all I know is that we already don't dispose well of our lithium batteries now. So for us to be trying to make a new battery for cars and us to run on, and we're just throwing those batteries, and then for us to go, deep dive in the ocean, it's horrible. We just don't know what we're doing. And oil is like water for us, right? Well, water is important for the world as well. But I mean, like, oil is the water of the world, right? Oil is the blood of the world, basically, right? And so when we're draining it and not thinking that it's affecting anything else, it's crazy. Yeah, we're doing too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
We gotta stop taking the oil out the world. And there's ways to recycle lithium properly. Mm-hmm. There's ways of doing it, and there's ways of like reprocessing it.
Right.
That can be done.
That we should be doing.
Yeah. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Yeah, we were talking about. Oh yeah, measurement of our economy. So, like, there's this thing called gross domestic happiness.
Okay.
And I think that's how we should measure our society, by how happy and healthy are people.
Yes.
And that should be the measurement of the success of our society.
Okay.
And how much we're like that should be in the measurement of our society. It should be how happy, how healthy are people.
Right.
What's the disparity between the poorest and the richest person in our society? Mm-hmm. How many people are below poverty line?
Right.
How many people own land that want to own land?
Right.
and how many people versus how many people own, like what percentage of land
It's crazy. Listen,
does
those
a
are
person
crazy.
own?
Yeah, there
Versus,
are crazy land percentages right
the
now.
average, and that's the thing is that in real estate, people always like real estate. If you go to any like money making course, like any like they're like, oh, I'm gonna teach you how to really make money in your sleep.
Right.
It always comes down to real estate.
Yeah.
It always comes down to real estate. They're just like, hey, like go real estate, have real estate, buy 40, 50 properties, and it'll be great. And I'm like, so if every single person bought 50 properties, it's not possible. Somebody has to have 50 properties while another person has 0. That's just how it works. Like, in fact, if someone has 50 properties, there's going to have to be at least 50 people who don't have properties at all. And so it's just like, I mean, I guess the difference is like with skyscrapers, you're able to have a bunch more properties in one location.
Right.
So you could have like, I guess like you could build up potentially, but like I don't like living in an apartment building. I want to live in a house with a backyard and no one above me, no one around me.
Exactly. Have you heard of Habitat 62? That thing at the World's Fair? He was making apartments, but like new apartments. It was like a whole city in an apartment building. And they made like roads as well. There was like roads in the apartment, and then your house itself had like a greenhouse to it, and then every room in your house had like big windows, and then you had a balcony that you could walk onto that was its own garden. But you had neighbors, but they also had like economic and sustainable houses right next to you, and like literally like I'm saying, it was a complex, but it had roads in the complex. He wanted doctors and malls in there too. He really wanted people to be able to start their own little communities. And I'm like, that was a like 1962 World's Fair, right? And he had pitched it to them, and I think he needed like 85 million to fund. They gave him like 5 million, so he could only make like apartments with a lot of green space. You know what I mean? So the idea didn't really go on. But like even talking to Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, they said that Boston like leased them 1,300 lots, right? Or they asked Boston to lease them the 1,300 lots because they noticed that there were a lot of lots. That was 10 years ago. They're down to 3 lots now, but 10 years, a lot has changed, right? So they probably didn't really sustainably develop all of those 1,300 lots as they could have. And now in the next 10, 15 years, who knows, like, you know, what carbon print those houses that they developed on so quickly. Good, because they weren't doing anything with them. But, like, you know what I mean? There are consequences to the things that we do. No good deed goes unpunished, you know?
But we should have a society where good deeds go unpunished because we thought carefully about it and the good deed was purely good and like it went well. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And like I think about that a lot when it comes to like buildings and like how like when there's a new building built, it's just like if it's not the most sustainable possible, why are we doing that? It makes no sense. It's
exactly.
Like these buildings are going to be around for 100 years.
Putting out bad energy.
Yeah. It makes no sense. So we need to drive for change with that.
Imagine we could put colorful smoke into the air so we could see the effect on the ozone layer. Yeah. That would be cool.
If our CO2 had a hue to it and we can see it going up, you know, be like, oh no. And then every time we breathe, we would see color.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be trippy.
Oh my gosh, you know? I'm scared. I take it back.
You'd be inside of a room and everybody's, you know, breathing. You'd be very aware of people's breaths. You'd be like, oh,
that would be horrible. Yeah, that would be horrible.
So you'd see everybody's breath and you'd be like, Tom, can you stand a little bit further away, please?
Right. You're too purple.
Yeah, it's too much purple.
That's funny.
Yeah, that would be interesting. If everybody breathed like a different color, like everyone had their own color, just a little slight change in hue.
Right.
So yeah, I think universal basic income, they've tested out in a few locations. Okay. And what they've found was that people at any income level, it benefits them. And they did these small tests, like $500 a month. Okay. And so people who weren't making a lot of money, it allowed them to have more stability in their finances so they can think about other things. And then for people that, you know, already had a stable income, it allowed them to invest more into things that they cared about. So all in all, it's a good thing. And I think that universal basic income is important because we live in a capitalist society. So there are people in our society that have accumulated so much wealth that they have they could mess up as many times, and they have safety nets. And most people don't have that. Whereas if we had a universal basic income that was basically a ground floor safety net, so you can't actually fail. Yeah. So like you are like fine. And then when you're making more money, that, X amount of thousands of dollars a month, you could invest it.
That's why my generation is mad, because our parents are supposed to be the safety net. They talking about they broke too. But yes, literally. I think that would be very helpful. And yeah, to give people that don't have the opportunity to invest, an opportunity to invest. Like I said, the grass might not be greener because you can still lose your investment. But now, like, you're excited. You're thinking, like, what can I invest in that won't fall through? What can I invest in that will make me the money? Yeah. Very important.
So you said that that you didn't get the opportunity to go to college. Do you feel like you missed out?
No, I chose to not be full-time. I graduated from Boston Public Schools, so now I think Boston, they're doing the free college over 25 thing. But if you graduated from BPS, your college is free. You just have to go through community college and then transfer after the 2 years, which is fine because that's cost effective. Even if you don't have to do that, you should do that, because the same general class is $40,000 is $3,000 at Bunker Hill. So if life happens and you fail and you apply for FAFSA will make you repay it back. Would you rather pay back $3,000 or $40,000? So life happened to me, right? I was homeless, like I said before. So I had to pay FAFSA back. And after paying FAFSA back, I'm like, I'm not even really into this. So I know, like if you're into it, you're not going to fail a class. Like, you might get a D or C, not failing. But I just wasn't even, I was applying to classes and then having life going on. And it was just too much. So I'm like, I'm not going to be full-time anymore. And then I would go back and try it semesterly. Maybe 2 classes, maybe 4 classes. Let's see how it works. It just wasn't for me. But the things that I was going for, I started at like school psychology, early childhood education, and then entrepreneurship and business. All those things are things that I'm just transferring into my real life and that I don't have to pay for. I'm just like paying kind of through learning. Yeah. So it's a different school. School of life. School of hard knocks.
So the school of life. Do you think at some point that you would want to go back to college? Or do you feel like it's not necessary?
Maybe. I like a good community. So for me personally, seeing the schools down south with the marching bands and stuff, because we don't have marching bands up here and things like that. I think that's really cool and cute. And, if I had obviously I know that because like the FAFSA thing, I would have to have my education together and like the plan together. It would have to make sense. But I would definitely do it like on campus. I was doing it before community college. I did some in-person classes before COVID and then virtual after COVID. And it was cool, but it wasn't it. Especially not the community sense, I made some friends on Facebook, but from Bunker Hill. But, I could have probably made a deeper community if I stayed longer. But if I go back to college, definitely going to try the dorm aspect, no matter how old I am, because I know maybe some people get past a certain age, they don't want to do the dorm thing. But if I get rich enough, because like I said, it's a lot of money. If I get rich enough, though, I'm definitely going to do it. Why not? Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, I went to college, got my undergrad, got my master's.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Master's in sustainability and environmental management.
Okay. Yes, all the things we're talking about, very important things. How did you know? Back in the day, how did you know the world's going to be ending now?
Well, I went to a boarding school in Burlington, Vermont. And they had we made our own maple syrup, and so like every sugaring season it was awesome because I would get woken up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be woken up by the smell of maple syrup because the groundskeeper just was like all hyped up about making fresh maple syrup the first thing in the morning. And I'm just like, oh, this smells so good. I'm just like, yeah, here we go. And So I was a troubled child.
Okay.
So I went to a therapeutic boarding school
Ooh.
before this boarding school. This is an after treatment boarding school. So like
Oh
I
my
had
gosh, interesting.
yeah, so I had like learning disabilities. I had behavioral issues, and in the first therapeutic boarding school I went to, they had like a quiet room that they would lock you in if you were messing around too much. And,
Oh, no.
And yeah,
like
it was
that.
very traumatizing for me. Very
Yeah,
traumatizing.
that
It took
sounds
me a while.
crazy.
I'm still like processing it. I'm 36 now, and I'm still overcoming it. And I was like 12 when I was there. And there was like juvenile delinquents.
Right.
So like people like kids would go after juvenile hall.
my God.
They would go to this school that I was at, and I was
Right.
like,
Jonathan was just trying to live his life, coming to himself.
I'm like, I just have a little bit of oppositional defiance situation. I shouldn't
Right.
be with these criminals.
Right.
But I got out of there in like a year and a half. And went to Rock Point in Burlington, Vermont, which like people go to after therapy.
Okay.
And after like there's also like this wilderness therapy where they literally take you like you live in the wilderness.
I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, and they take away your shoes
I've
at
seen
night.
it on TikTok. Oh
And-
my God.
And it's a wilderness therapy, and so like I met kids that like went to that too, and they're like, "Yeah, man, they took away our shoes at night. It was terrible."
Were they hardened? Yeah. Like, why
But
would
they
you send
actually
me
weren't
here?
hardened. They were like hippie.
Aw.
They're just like, "Yeah, bro, it was like all right."
Amazing.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
anyways, yeah, that's a tangential. But so the maple syrup. I would drive around with the groundskeeper and collect maple syrup, and he'd be like, "You know what, John? They say that climate change is not happening, but I can tell you it is because the sugaring season here in Vermont is getting shorter and shorter.
Aw.
And one day we're not going to be able to make maple syrup in Vermont anymore."
Wow.
And sure enough, like it's getting that way. Like the sugaring season is getting shorter and shorter because to get maple syrup, to collect sap, it relies on an even fall. So going a gradual temperature change from summer into colder into winter with some fluctuations.
Okay.
But now because we have large, huge fluctuations that sometimes stay and it gets really hot,
Right.
and for a while, it's disrupting the tree's ability to release sap. So
Poor trees.
yeah, so it's a problem, and so that's what, and like we also composted, separated our recycling and everything, and so I was like really I really care about sustainability. So like I knew I wanted to do something in like environmentally, and so in college I interned for a solar panel company, and I interned for the Department of Energy Resources,
Nice.
and I was like, and then when I went to Australia for a semester, and I studied sustainability out there, learned about eco villages,
Okay.
which are really cool.
Eco villages.
Yeah. And there's this community they built in like this mountainside, and basically they designed it so that it would have passive cooling.
Oh.
And they had all the houses were raised so
Okay.
that it wouldn't interrupt the natural flow of water.
Okay.
And they had like hamlets, so like these little like groupings of houses and resources. So there'd be a community center here, there'd be a dentist over there, there'd be like a market over here, and you could just like bike between the different
Right.
places. And so that was really cool. And when I came back, I was just like, oh, I need to get my master's in sustainability. Well, what happened was after college, I started applying for jobs.
Okay.
And I'm not really good at applying for I don't know how to.
They make it so hard.
Yeah. So like I just started seeing like a sustainability job, and it's
Okay.
like they want 10 years experience or a master's degree.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I don't have a time machine,
Wow. Yep.
so I can't go back in time and get the experience.
Crazy thinking.
So I'm going to go get a master's degree.
What?
So I went, and there was only 2 programs throughout the entire U.S. This was back in 2010.
Okay.
And there was only 2 programs, 2 or 3 throughout the whole U.S. that had a master's in sustainability. Harvard at the Extension School.
Okay.
And like Stanford, I think, I think that's in California. But anyways,
Where is Stanford?
they had there's just that, and I was just like, I'm gonna do the Extension School because
Right.
you don't have to do the GRE for
Okay.
that. You just had to take classes
Okay.
and pass them, and then you could apply to be in the program.
Easiest thing.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that, and so I did that, and that's how I got my master's in sustainability and environmental management. And then after I finished my master's, then I started looking for jobs, and people wanted a master's degree and a few years experience, and so I'm just like, well,
This is all I got. Take it or not.
yeah. So I kind of was just like, you know what, forget it. I'm also like passionate about personal training and fitness.
Oh my
so I got
goodness.
certified as a personal trainer,
Right.
and I started doing personal training. I was like, I'm going to do personal training, and I'm going to get my inventions built. So like I had inventions I wanted to build, and so I was going to do that. And instead, I went to a pitch competition, and I met Danny.
Aww.
Yeah, and he was pitching this idea of an online innovation ecosystem, connecting entrepreneurs' resources, and I was just like, that's the path to sustainability for the human species. Well, I mean, sustainability is not really possible without the human species because we've messed it up so much. I guess if we all just like were erased, then sustainability of the planet would be able to happen, I think. But
you just have to take out the United States and then we're good. The rest of the world would be good.
yeah, China's a pretty big polluter too.
You're right.
But yeah, basically, Danny, I liked the pitch, and I was like, that's the path to sustainability, because if we can empower people to be able to take what they're passionate about and become successful entrepreneurs in it,
Right.
then we will achieve. Sustainability has three aspects: social well-being, how happy, healthy, empowered are people; economic prosperity, how easily is it for people to generate wealth and grow economically; and then environmental stewardship, which is what everyone else knows as sustainability. So like environmental sustainability. So like
Right.
Energy efficiency, solar panels, electric vehicles, and like, sustainable agriculture. That is the environmental aspect, but that's just one part. That's 1/3. The other 2/3, that's huge, is economic sustainability and social sustainability. And I believe that we need to focus on social and economic sustainability in order to achieve environmental stewardship. Because if we have the majority of the population struggling to survive, how are they going to care about what bin this recycling goes into, or like, how do I compost properly? They don't care.
Exactly.
Because they're too busy.
And then, my gosh, it must have got cold in here. My throat is and then a lot of compost, I was looking into this, like when you have to pay for pickup. It's just madness. I just can't do this.
Well, Boston did add
The little compost bin.
yeah, they have compost bins. You can sign up for composting.
Oh my goodness. They need to get it together.
Yeah, because I signed up. I have a compost bin. I have a
Yay.
little green compost bin, and now I'm trying to educate my roommates that you can't put plastic in the compost bin.
That little tiny bin. Why are they trying to put plastic in there?
Yeah, so like, well, they'll like, so like, you know how fruit has like stickers on it? Those stickers are not compostable. So they have to remove the sticker. And so I'm like going through the compost, removing stickers and taking things out. And then I also have to teach them on what is compostable versus what's recyclable. Because paper towels are compostable, they're not recyclable.
Okay, right.
And soft plastic is recyclable, but it has to be recycled separately inside a grocery store.
Yeah, because they have all those different plastics.
Yep.
Yeah, we want the PET, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want the PET plastic.
And the problem is that most plastics are not actually recyclable.
Exactly, and they don't recycle them.
Yeah, because they're made out of like every plastic, like different plastics are made out of different polymers and materials.
Right.
And so it's like we should just, like, I know we talked earlier about regulation, but like
they should tell people that their plastics can't even break down to be recycled. Yeah, like Greenpeace, that was like really mind blowing for me. It's like, wait, and then get this, like while we were canvassing, like knocking on doors for Greenpeace, we saw a trash truck come by and he was picking up recycle bins
and throwing it in the trash. Yeah,
the waste management guy. It was a waste management truck. This was in Rhode Island, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, like, are you taking that to this? He's like, no, we're going to the recycling plant. Like, yeah, okay, like you're going to that trash place. They probably it's just so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. That's a problem.
We can tell more people about it.
Yeah. We gotta
our
tell
riot.
more people.
Yeah, so I'll print out those infographics for the riot. Anything else you want me to print out, let me know. Send it to me in a document before December 31st.
Is that when the riot?
I don't know, I guess.
Gonna do it in the snow.
We're rioting now. No, it's global warming. It's going to be hot then.
It's gonna be hot.
It's going to be 60 degrees like it was last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's 30.
I feel like that's a problem, is that like how riots need to happen in order for people to listen. But yeah. So that was my story about how I got into sustainability, why I got my master's in sustainability, why I care about it. And yeah, a huge aspect of this talking solutions is the tangential aspect of it.
Okay.
Because I have ADHD.
Okay.
And so
I have ADHD.
Yeah, I'm just like, you gotta run with it. You gotta enjoy it. And so, like, I've gotten very good with my ADHD because most people with ADHD, they walk into a room and they're like, why did I come in here? And then they're like, oh, damn.
Right.
And then they just do something else. Whereas me, when I walk into a room, I go, why did I come in here? I start to think back and I go, where was I earlier? I was down the stairs. I was looking at this. I was looking at that. And that made me think about this.
Right.
Which made me think about that. And I'm like, oh, that's why I'm here.
Yes.
And so like I trace back, you know, my thoughts, and I do that in conversations too. Like when I'm going on tangents, I'm just like, oh, we got on this tangent. Now we got to go back to that's what we were talking about, which we've done a couple times in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it. I think people will like podcasts like this.
Think people like podcasts like this too?
Yeah.
They better.
You better like this. Okay.
Send it to your friends.
Send it to people.
Yeah.
So what is next for you? What's the next thing happening that you want people to know about in the next few months?
From now until future notice, RadiateRoyal is looking for mentors. We're looking for mentors. So we want people to hit us up and apply on the website. To start going through the background check process. February 2024 will be our first workshop series. Have about 8 workshops for youth, 14 to 18, and then some workshops for families in Boston as well, regarding personal finance, and for youth, like starting their finance journey, and then for families, meal prepping on a budget, things like that. So we really and then Kwanzaa, December, Kwanzaa. So we want people to keep community economics on their mind, and unity and self-determination. Yeah, hopefully I'll be back for another interview soon.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Ooh, community land trust. Sorry. So many things going on, And then go vote. I don't know. Yeah. End it, Jonathan.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us in this conversation between Raeven and Jonathan. So this has been Talking Solutions, where we talk about solutions. We talk about societal issues, talk about the solutions to them, talk about what we think should happen, how our society could be better. And I believe that everybody watching this should become a participant in our government and figure out who your representative is, talk to that representative, become friends with them, know who they are, and keep them accountable, hold them accountable. Okay? They want you to. That's why they got into that position in the first place.
Can you handle the heat? No, I'm kidding. Get out the kitchen.
That's right. All right.